Flow through a quick and easy but feels good and really energizing yoga flow today. I am in my second trimester of pregnancy, so you'll see me modify things a little bit differently to make room for the belly. Today you'll need a mat and some yoga blocks, and we'll go ahead and get started. So let's start in either child's pose, or you can start in a seated position, or you can start reclined on your back. And we're just going to take a moment to arrive here in our bodies. Maybe you soften your gaze or close your eyes. Just allowing yourself to arrive in this space, in this moment here together. Doing a quick body scan to notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. A lot of times we hold tension in the shoulders or between our eyebrows or in our jaw. So if you're holding that tension, or maybe in the tops of your thighs, if you're holding that tension, just see if you can let it go, even just for a moment, and see how that feels. Really tuning into the body. Continuing to listen as we move today, moving through our practice, seeing what feels good, what doesn't, and just allowing yourself to do what you need during this time. And then when you're ready, we're just going to come into a bit of a cobbler's pose position. So the soles of our feet are together. We're in this like butterfly diamond shape. And we're just going to begin to warm up through our hips a little bit today. And so we're just going to bring our knees, you can move your hands out of the way, bring your knees up and down like you're fluttering, but trying to make that full arc with our knees up and down. Just warming up through the hip flexors. And you can play around with bringing the soles of your feet closer to your body or further away. And just moving at your own pace. And then when that feels good, we'll let our knees fall out wide and just find a quick stretch. Nothing too pushy here because we haven't warmed up yet. And then we'll bring one foot in. So I'm bringing my left foot in, and then my right foot is going to come behind my glutes, kind of like this cheerleader pose position. And let's sweep this left arm up and overhead. Find a side stretch through the left side body. Your right hand can come onto your shin or the mat. Maybe you look up and overhead. Maybe you find some neck rotations while we're here, or wrist rotations. Good, and then we'll release that left hand to the mat. You can play around with where you want the placement for your right hand for this next little flow. I like to place it behind my right glute because we're going to begin to arc this right knee up and down like we did in that butterfly position. So bringing the right knee up towards the ceiling, and then we'll release it back down. Just moving nice and slow and gentle. Just moving our hips in ways that they might not regularly get throughout the day, especially if you're sitting at a desk job or you're working from home. Just bringing some presence and awareness to the hip flexors. Good, and then once you're ready, just bring our legs out in front of us for a moment, shake them out. And then we'll switch sides, so right foot in, left knee comes behind the glute. We'll find that side stretch again. So right arm comes up and overhead, maybe look up. Finding that wrist rotation, maybe you want to turn your head. And then we'll release that right arm down. Your left hand, if you found it comfortable, can come behind your left glute, or it can always just rest at the mat in front of you. And we'll begin to find that rainbow arc with our left knee. Paying attention, maybe you feel a difference on each side. Maybe this knee doesn't make it quite as far, or I know I feel tight in this leg today from the yoga class I taught last night. Went a little harder on my left side apparently than my right. Good, and then when it feels good to stop that, we're just gonna come onto all fours. And we'll find a little cat-cow, so warming up our spine. So on an inhale, we'll drop the belly, open the chest, look up. And an exhale, round through the spine. You can always tuck the toes or leave the tops of your feet on the mat. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, round. You can find whatever movement feels good here. So I always like to come back. I get a longer stretch through my lats if I press back a little bit. You can find some hip rotations. Continuing to breathe, feel into what your body needs here. If you want to find some wrist rotations, that can feel nice, or maybe you pull your wrist towards your body. Good, and then when that feels nice and settled, we're going to keep our right knee bent underneath us. So we're going to come into gate pose. And then our left leg is going to shoot out to the side. So it's like the middle of our left foot is in line with our knee. We're going to walk our right hand over towards the side. And our left arm is going to come up towards the ceiling. Now you can keep this left hand here. You can always have it on your waist as well. Or you can reach it up and overhead, placing it by your ear. Engaging through the core here, staying long through the side body, pressing into the shoulder. Really see if you can press the hips forward so that we're not dumping them back in space, but we're really feeling what that feels like to press those hips forward. Good, and then we're going to sweep this left arm down and around and towards our back left foot, coming into a runner's lunge, half splits position. So our right knee is still bent. Our right foot is behind us. We can bend into your left knee, but our toes are going to flex towards our face. And you can stay here. You can grab your blocks to bring the ground up closer to you. And you can stay long, or you can begin to fold. Breathing into the back of that leg. Sending your awareness, your intention there. Good, one more inhale. And on the exhale, we're gonna roll through that front foot. We're just gonna pause here for one more moment. If you wanted to untuck, just find a little strength here. You can. And then we'll come back down and we're just gonna walk our hands around back to center. And we'll pause in hero pose, so sitting back on our knees. You can always tuck a block underneath your glutes if this is uncomfortable, or you can come to a seated position. Pausing here, recentering yourself. We're gonna do the other side. So we'll come up onto our knees. We'll shoot that right leg out to the side. Your left hand can come down to the mat. Your right arm sweeps up and overhead. Again, pushing those hips forward instead of back. You can always come up onto a block if coming down all the way to the earth isn't accessible in this moment. And then your right arm can reach towards your ear if that feels good. Again, readjusting the hips. I constantly have to remind my hips to shift forward. And then from here, we're gonna sweep that right arm around, begin to frame that right foot, toes flex towards your face. You can keep a bend in this right knee, or it can be straight. Again, you can find those blocks, or just begin to fold. One more inhale here. On an exhale, we're gonna roll through that front foot that's come up into our lunge. So you can tuck the back toe, lift the knee, just pausing here to find a moment of strength. And then we'll release the back knee down. We'll walk our hands around towards the front, taking a moment to pause, in hero pose. To build up a little bit more energy through our body, we'll flow through 2 sun salutation A's at a pretty quick pace. I'll walk you through it and then we'll cool down. So we'll begin to face the top of our mat. We'll walk our hands slightly forward, tuck our toes up and back, downward dog. On your next inhale, we'll bend our knees, look between our palms, make your way towards the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift, your version. Your hands can come wherever is comfortable. And exhale, fold. And then inhale, we're gonna bring our arms up and overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep your arms down, around and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step back to plank. From here, you can either lower your knees or keep them lifted. I'm gonna lower so I don't put as much pressure on my core. You can lower all the way to the belly before you find cobra or up dog, so mini back bend. Or you can just press back up like I'm gonna do so I don't stretch my belly too far. And then we're gonna press up and back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we'll bend the knees, look between the palms, make your way towards the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Maybe you look up. And exhale, hands to heart. Really feeling all 4 corners of the feet ground into the mat. It's my favorite way to remind myself to remain grounded, to be present in this moment. Inhale, we'll sweep our arms down and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step back to plank. You can flow through your vinyasa, your chaturanga to up dog, or you can just meet me in downward dog. And then we'll lower the knees. We'll come down to a seat. You can slide your legs around you and in front. We'll do a pretty quick couple breaths boat pose. So boat pose, you can just stay here reclined, which is where I'm gonna hang out, just holding onto the backs of your legs. Or you can lift your feet, arms out, or you can even straighten your legs here. Pregnancy, I don't want to put too much pressure on my core, so I'm just gonna hang out here, but focusing on that engagement. If you are hanging out here with your heels on the mat, you can always just play around with a little heel lift, alternating sides. You just want it a little bit more. And then where you're ready, we'll straighten our legs. Just find a quick stretch, backs of the legs. And then we'll make our way, roll down onto your back, hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock a little side to side. And then before we find Shavasana, if there's any pose, maybe you need a twist or happy baby, that would feel good for you, feel free to take that here. Otherwise, I'll meet you in Shavasana, legs out long, palms facing up. Just letting it all go, melting into your mat. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need, as long as your time and day allows. If you have to get up and go, like I do, I totally understand. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, for pressing play, for showing up for yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.